Hello and welcome to this burst of a two-shot of Masks, A New Generation. And this is titled Band on the Run. We have a group of heroes who are going to be essentially trying to evade the long arm of the law, even though they're heroes. A classic trope, and we'll come back to how that happened in a moment. My name is Lowell, pronouns he, him, and this session is part of the Gauntlet Gaming Calendar. If you want to find out more about what we do and the games that we play and so on, you can find out more about that at gauntlet-rpg.com. And if you listen to this via our podcast version of this, or if you're watching this on my YouTube channel, go and subscribe to these things because we got a ton of content, and you might find some other stuff that you dig. So to start today, I'm going to go through our CATs, which is concept, aim, tone, and safety. There are a couple of different versions of what each of those letters mean in CATs, but that's the way that I do it. So our players are going to be playing young superheroes, just starting out, trying to prove your worth, show who you are, and find yourselves. You are inexperienced, and adults, whether they're super or just non-super, they don't take you seriously. When you go to adults, they often don't listen to you. They don't understand what's happening, and all of those kinds of issues. But you have a new family. You have a team that we assume that you've worked with at the start for a while. And especially right now, that family, that team is being challenged by outside forces that we'll come back to. So the approach, aim, we're going to start with creating characters, choosing playbooks, selecting abilities, figuring the backstory questions, and setting relationship influence, all the basic steps of things. From that will give me an idea about what kind of approach we're going to take for the setup to why you're being hunted, why you're being pursued. And normally in character creation for masks, there's a when our team first came together set of questions. We're not going to be using those. Instead, I'll be substituting a set of questions about how you got into the situation that you're in. So that set of questions is off the table. A mention about character creation. When we do character creation, you'll be making your picks on playbooks. If by the end of that sort of period that we set for character creation, if there's some things you haven't chosen, you can choose those on the fly. Don't feel bad about that. Our tone. So this is super heroic, but emotional. This is as much about the stories of the characters' interplay and their feelings and such as it is about actually doing superhero things. The key to consider is that your stats are these labels. And labels are both about how people see you, but also how you think people see you. So those labels get shifted. And I think that's a really important thing to think about is what those labels actually mean to you. Like if you have a very high level in a label, what does that mean about your self-image or how other people are seeing you? If you have a +3 in danger, you're super dangerous. And people are going to see that the way, and you may also feel that you're dangerous. So that's an important thing to think about. So this game isn't cartoony. It's not Go Teen Titans Go, but it is also not grimdark. So it is definitely not the live action Titans show. If you've seen that, my touchstones are primarily Young Avengers, maybe New Mutants, Young Justice, even Batman Beyond. These are all kind of the tonal frames that I'm imagining. Now, to help support that particular tone and support play with people we haven't necessarily played with before, we have a layered set of safety tools. And I'll briefly go through what those are. Number one, we have a tab for safety in the Character Keeper. This has our chart for lines and veils. Lines being anything we definitively don't want to see in the story. Veils being anything that, should it occur, we're going to fade to black, or we're going to talk about it off screen. And then ask first being anything that I'm okay with playing with that, but I definitely want to check in before we do it. So throughout the character creation process, take a look at those, mark them up, and so on. Because there's often a lot of romance and emotional things in this, there's also a romance matrix there on that Lines and Veils page where you can say, I'm good with romantic pushes, storylines with NPCs, with PCs, or I definitely want to check in, someone to check in first before that. And you can click multiples of those or none of those. It's up to you. So feel free to do that and mark those up through the character creation process. The second thing that we have after that kind of baseline is our X card. And you can verbally say X card, or you can do the gesture to X card. Because if we do it in chat, I'll often miss it because I'm looking around at different screens. When you X card something, you're saying, this is something I want to like stop or want to eliminate, or think we've hit something problematic. It can be for material in the game that's problematic. It can be for language that is objectionable or ableist or whatnot. It can be for something you feel is wildly off tone. It can also be if something is happening in terms of the play style, and maybe somebody's pushing in on your scene in a way you're not comfortable with, or intrusive. May want to X card just to give us a chance to pause here and recalibrate on that. You never have to justify your X card choice. I may ask like, okay, where are we cutting? Or where do we need to go back to? But you never have to defend that. Another good place for the use of the X card is because we're rolling into this first of a two-shot. If we start to go towards something that you realize we've got marked as a line or a veil or even an ask first, and maybe it looks like we haven't like realized that, like the play is going that way, it's reasonable to X card and say, hey, I think we're going towards that. So feel free to use it for that. The last thing is we have an open door policy, which means that if you need to step away for whatever reason, you need to leave, to exit, you're not feeling well, you're not digging it, someone's at the door, whatever, feel free to leave. It's great if you can tell us that you'll be back, but that is not an obligation on your part. We understand that things happen in the real world. And the additional note to that is, let's say we get to the end of this session and you're like, that is not the game I thought it was, or that is not a game I want to go back to, because that can happen. Then you should absolutely feel free to say, hey, I'm not going to be back. You should never go back or feel obliged or pushed to play in a game that you're not enjoying. You should always take advantage of giving yourself that space. So just keep that in mind. All right. So the most important things I want to say about masks before we go into kind of choosing the character keeper. One, I've talked about those labels. Those labels will shift. A lot of the labels will get shifted by adults interacting with you. Other players will shift those labels, so they will be flexible. They will shift throughout play. There are two sort of important mechanical things to keep in mind with masks. Number one is a lot of what's going to happen to you in terms of harm is going to be marking conditions. And there are 5 conditions: afraid, hopeless, insecure, guilty, angry. Sometimes I might say that a particular one fits, but most of the time I'm going to let you choose what condition you're marking, why that is. If you mouse over those conditions in the character keeper, you will see that each of those gives a penalty to 1 or 2 moves, a -2, but also it has a note on how you clear that condition. So that's something you're going to be thinking about, looking at while we're in play is which conditions do I want to take? What am I doing? How am I going to clear that? The next thing is, this game doesn't have a classic I want to help move in the sense of rolling a move to help somebody out. Instead, you have a team pool, and we'll keep track of that in the chat. When you go to help someone, if you can, in the fiction, you can spend one team from the team pool to give them a +1 after they roll. Multiple people can do that, but you can only spend one per person. So sort of limited in that way. Now, if you're in a situation where you need to do something, but maybe there's nobody around, or maybe it's that maybe nobody would want to help you because you're doing something not great, you can use team from the team pool selfishly, and you spend that, and you'll shift the label that you're rolling with by 1. Don't just add the +1, you actually shift the label you're rolling with, and you can do that after you've rolled. And then you're going to tell us how what you're doing is actually like contrary to other people's and maybe causing a negative feeling on the part of other people. So those are the big things. They're things I always have to get in my head because they're a little counterintuitive to the usual masks. So with all of that in mind, I would like to come around and see what playbooks people are thinking about. So I'm going to kind of go in the order that people entered the call. Anders, have you thought about what playbook or playbooks you're thinking about?
Yeah, I had a look through them right now, and I made a little list.
Okay.
The ones I'm most interested in are partly the ones that have a strong connection to the setting that will kind of matter for this, the legacy, the protege, and the scion, that have kind of external, like there are big important heroes that will be important to them, which feels like it's interesting with this setup. And also the bull, because it's just seems like a fun playbook to play. But so, I'm pretty flexible. So, but one of those should be available.
Perfect. So we've got it narrowed down to 4. I'm good with that. Jeremy, have you thought about what you would like?
I looked at the playbooks from the secondary material, and I kind of like the genius, because then I can techno babble, which is kind of fun. Or I think I want to be hold on. I think it's called the monstrous, right? Or the transformed. There you go.
The transformed.
Yeah, the transformed, because I like I like that Hank McCoy sort of I look like a thing, blah blah blah, and I have to deal with that now. So
those are 2 good playbooks. So we've got narrowed down to 2.
Yep,
which is great. Myri, what are you thinking?
I was thinking either the bull or the outsider, I think it is. Yeah.
Let me pull my folder up here. Of course, I've closed my tabs, which is oh yeah, it's for I had to look. I'd forgotten what the outsider was.
Yeah, it's the alien one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Those are 2 good playbooks. Chris, come to you. Have you thought about what you might want to play?
Yeah, one of the ones I was thinking about playing, nobody said, the Beacon.
Okay.
If you're okay with that one, I'm happy to just do that. Can nobody else?
Beacon is perfect. Beacon is a great playbook. So I will set you to the task of looking at that. The Beacon had So one of the things the beacon has is those 4 drives. Feel free to like maybe choose 1 or 2 and keep a couple in your pocket to pull out as you want through play, especially because we just got a 2-shot. So some choices have been narrowed down. The only one that has been mentioned by anyone else is the bull. Anders, what do you think now? If I come back to you, can you choose from those 4?
Probably, but I'm yeah, I think I have to look more closely to choose specifically.
Okay.
I think it will
I'm
gel
gonna
a bit once we get a little bit
put
further.
that pin
That's
there.
okay.
Yep. Jeremy, between the genius and the transformed, what do you think?
I think I want to play the transformed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then bull or outsider?
I think I'll go with bull.
Okay. Awesome. I love the bull. Bull has great moves and interesting relationship questions. So okay, so we've got those set. So we've actually narrowed your choice down to 3, Anders.
Yeah. So we have the bull and the transform. They're both pretty physical usually, right?
They are
Definitely the bull.
a little bit, yeah, I'd say.
Yeah.
A
Cool.
beacon is our non-powered adventurer, our generally
Yeah.
or at least low powers.
I think I'll go with the protege.
Okay.
Transformed and I mean, legacy is also very physical, I think, and the transformed and the bull are a little bit like on the outsider-ish side of things. So the scion feels kind of like doubling up on that. So I'll go with the protege.
Okay. So I'm going to tell you some things about how this setup is going to go, and I want you to keep this in mind as you're making your choices. So in our particular setup, a few months ago, the event, capital T, capital E, happened. And a vast swath of the superhero population and supervillain population, power population, went missing. Upwards of 90%, leaving behind 10%, but only adults. And what has remained is, a population of heroes kind of left behind that are wondering what's going on, including in the case of you, Anders, your mentor. But what has happened is rather than people like pulling together and like wanting, superheroes back, in Halcyon City, there has been a movement sort of against superset. Like now they're gone. There's fewer of them. Maybe we need to regulate them more. And in particular, they have issued an edict, essentially that teen heroes, any heroes that appear to be underage, are outlawed, and they have gone after this seriously, especially because some teen heroes lacking other adult heroes to kind of keep them in line have done some reckless things. And so that is where we're going to be starting out today. And we'll talk about how that affects you and so on. But I want you to keep that in mind as you're making your choices. So in the character keeper, if you pick one of the columns there for the keeper, if you do the drop down for your playbook, then it will populate things like your backstory questions, your relationships, influence, all of those things. So you just pick a column, go through, and you can start working on that process. Well, once we're done sort of up to the relationship questions and the influence, we'll stop before we get to those. We'll do introductions and then we'll walk through those. And I should say, mention all the playbook moves. The text for the playbook moves are on the playbook moves tab, so you can copy and paste those over. Any questions? Okay, I'm going to sit here awkwardly. I am going to stop the recording while this is going on. So if anyone is watching or listening to this, they don't have to hear dead air for a while. So let us begin. Anders, you have made the, I believe, unwise choice of being the first person in the character keeper, which is always the challenge here. So tell us about what you're thinking for your character. You're doing the protege. Tell us about what you're imagining. Give us your name, your pronouns, and then if you have your character's name and their pronouns, that as well.
My name is Anders. I use he, him. I don't have. I have. My character is female. She should be she, her.
Okay.
That should be there. I don't have a name yet, but I will get there.
Okay.
She is the protege of, I guess, a Batman-like vigilante, but more on the, not the grim dark side, but more like a violent vigilante type than the protective one.
Okay.
It's more, I guess, more Frank Miller's Batman than Adam West.
Okay.
But she is, and he probably has some kind of superpowers, but she doesn't. So she has gadgets and things that she uses instead. But he has taught her to be stealthy and to use her head. And so he embodies danger and he denies savior, which is not an outlook that she shares.
Okay.
That's where she is. I think she was like, he probably rescued her at some point, and I think she showed that she could follow him or something, and she impressed him enough that he agreed to train her.
So is this a case of like, was she on the streets? Was she homeless? Or is it just that she was out? She has a family, but he saved her and she's kind of changed her approach. What do you think?
I think she was on the streets. It's maybe she lost her parents and he saved her in that situation, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure I want to go into
Okay.
that too much. But
sure.
I don't think she has. Maybe she has like a little brother who's in an orphanage.
Okay. So our mentor, and I will make you come up with a name for them and for you before we start. Like, what was it that made you decide that was when they rescued you? But what made you decide to enter in what is a long, difficult process, right?
Yeah, I think she was kind of. I think in that particular situation, she was feeling like she was feeling powerless, and this was a person who obviously had power, and I think at first she just right when it happened, he saved her from some bad guy of some kind. She just asked him to like train me, take me with you, that sort of thing, and he just said no. And then she followed him, and she showed that she could do that. She felt like she didn't have any real prospects, and when he agreed to train her, that was it was that showed that he was an adult who was interested in her and cared about her in some fashion.
So let me ask you, we have the sense of why were you the first protege, or
Ooh.
had he had previous proteges?
Hmm. That's a good question. I feel like if he'd had proteges before, then I'm leaning even harder into the Batman thing. I'm not sure if that's but yeah, I think he's had at least one protege before who
Okay.
has like graduated and is working on their own.
So that may be an NPC that you've interacted with, so on. I like the idea about power versus powerlessness, and maybe as you've gotten older, you've realized actually what that means. Who outside of the team knows about your training, knows that you're going through this process?
Hmm. Think if my little brother is still living in the orphanage, probably not him. Maybe like the person running the orphanage.
Okay.
Like if and let's go into all the stereotypes. Let's say it's like a Catholic thing. So
Okay.
there's a nun who's in charge there.
So the sister in charge knows.
Yeah.
Does she approve, disapprove?
She does not approve.
Does not approve.
She does not think this is a wise thing to do.
Probably tries to keep your brother insulated from it, I imagine.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's made me promise not to tell him.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Why do you care about the team?
I think they are they are people I can talk about this thing. I guess I've kind of had some friends at the orphanage, but these are people I have something in common with other than not having parents.
Okay. All right. So that gives us some good stuff. We'll come back to you to talk about the relationship questions and the influence questions. And when we come back, I'll ask for a name. And I'm also going to ask you what you look like, what your costume looks like. Those are two things I'm going to let you stew on here for a bit. Next is Carmen. So our bull, tell us your name, pronouns, your characters' names, their pronouns, and give us the basic introduction.
All right. Yeah, my name is Mari. My pronouns are she, her. My character's name is Carmen. I haven't picked the last name yet. Her pronouns are she, her. I'm not sure yet whether she has a superhero name or whether she just doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
She's the bull. I'm picturing her as a somewhat strong, large, butch woman. That she's fairly casual, I think, foregoing a costume. Let's see, what else?
So let me ask you this: if she's foregoing a costume, does she look normal, or when you look at her, do you know that there's something unusual about her?
I think she looks plausibly normal.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. So tell us about what moves you took for your bull.
So I took in a china shop. For when you directly engage a threat, you can cause significant damage to your environment to choose an additional option even on a miss. And there, when it matters, when you defend someone on a hit, you can hold one instead of choosing one from the list, and you can spend that to arrive on the scene to help them.
Nice. So the bull has some very interesting backstory questions. It's that kind of implies that something has happened to you. What is the backstory for Carmen?
I'm picturing it being some right-wing fascist group, Francoist or some similar thing, had a super soldier type program that trained her and changed her into what she is now to fight for them, and then she escaped. I haven't figured out how for that question.
You imagine
Um,
that was she like brought in as a young age, or was and then trained? Was she brainwashed? Was she like grown in a vat? Like, what are you imagining that?
I'm thinking, yeah, maybe genetically engineered,
Okay.
raised from birth in this environment.
So it asks like how you escape, but I guess the question is why. Like, what for me? What pushed you to leave?
Um, I suspect something happened that caused her to get an outside view on the world, and that caused her to question the ideology she had been raised with.
Awesome. So you're outside, you've escaped from this organization. We'll figure out a name for them. So in whose care are you in now? Like, who is taking care of you now that you've left this organization?
Um, I think there's a middle-aged woman who's taken her in when she, I don't know, saw Carmen trying to make it on her own, and perhaps felt sympathetic because of maybe her own background living on the street, and has given her a place to live and helped her get on her feet.
Is this person aware of your powers, or have you hidden that from them?
I've hidden it from them.
Okay. So someone who's taking care of you, and have that strong relationship, but you also kind of are keeping some secrets from them. I like that. Uh, why are you a hero? Why do you try to be a hero?
She wants to do something good and useful with her powers rather than what she was raised to do with them.
And why is the team important to you? Why do you care about them?
Um, I think that I I think she sees them as supportive, but not expecting everything from her. That sort of gives her room to figure out who she is, but also people she can fall back on.
Nice. I like that. I think that gives a good sense of who Carmen is. We'll come back to you to talk about those relationship questions and the influence questions. You are frozen, by the way, on my video there, so you may want to drop and come back.
Yeah, let me try that.
Okay. All right. So our next character, we'll give Myra a second to come back, is going to be, is it Bet? Is that the?
Bet teenage slang. That's right.
Okay. So tell us about who Bet, our beacon is.
Yeah, Bet is he, him. His real name is Oshin Hickey. He, him. He was a kid that grew up in a rural area and moved to the city and never really made any friends. He had some hobbies that he looked kind of like an outsider. Like he actually did shoot archery, and he did gymnastics, and he went on a vacation to a national park with his family, and he somehow had like an adventure and stumbled across, believe it or not, found like an artifact that belonged to a fairy goddess, and she gave him in return, she gave him his powers, which are basically to enhance the things that he already knew how to do. So he went from being a really awkward, isolated feeling kid to all of a sudden feeling like it, kind of the like, you know, Spider-Man type of story, feeling really excited that he now had something that he could actually apply himself to.
So what did you choose for the moves to represent that?
Yeah, the moves, given that a lot of this has been given to him rather than innate, no powers and not nearly enough training. So, you know, he's taken basically the possibly the magical stuff that she's given him and use that. And so if he finds other stuff, he'll be able to use that as well. And then suck at the mission. So when you stand strong, dramatically under fire, roll savior instead of danger, because he's still a kid that wants to like help other people.
Awesome. Like how old are we talking? The picture looks a little young, but how old are you thinking?
I was thinking pretty young. I mean, I don't know how young we can go, but I was thinking like 14.
Okay.
If that's too young, I could do 16. I mean, it's the kind of thing
I think we probably do want to set the bar at 16, given the romance stuff potentially.
Completely agree. Yeah, 16. Thank you.
So with that, what are the drives that you've chosen for Bet?
Yeah, so given that he's really not had a lot of success socially, he's, now that he puts this gear on, he's excited about the idea, even if it's kind of like a you know, cursing somebody out by doing it, like, or disrespecting them. He wants to kiss someone dangerous, and then help a teammate when they most need you. Those are the two.
What was the artifact that he found?
The artifact was a golden helmet. She's the daughter. She's the daughter of the god of the underworld. He doesn't know this, and she was unable to go back to the underworld until she got her helmet back. So she was, I mean, all this is up for debate, but that was my thinking.
No, I like that, especially if maybe you don't quite realize like the source of her powers there. And that is the costume that kind of golden armor that we see in that picture. Is that how you're mentioning?
Yeah, I was imagining a little bit more understated, but you know, why not? It's there. I like the flashy idea.
So you put this on, you say there, and then why didn't you put it on for a while? You mentioned that in that note there.
He's embarrassed.
Okay.
He's a shy kid, and he just was like, what am I doing? I'm such a weirdo, you know. But then he just got fed up. You know, teenagers, I'm assuming the weekend rolls around, they have nothing to do. At a certain point, they've got all that manic energy, and they're just like, forget this, I got to get outside. And he kind of hit a breaking point. And then it was kind of like a high, right? Like when he actually put this on and was able to help people and got attention, this is where he wants to be. So his family, I was trying to decide who outside of the team thinks he shouldn't be a superhero. I'm not sure how much we should be dipping into family if there's a secret identity.
Yeah, that is a question. I mean, you mentioned your dad there. Is it that your dad just thinks you should be applying yourself, or is your dad aware of being a superhero?
I don't think my family knows.
Okay.
So I might have to have another answer to that question about who should.
I think it's legit though. If they don't know what you're up to, but they know you should be studying. And why is it that you try to be a hero?
Yeah, it's finally a way to connect with other people. He felt very unconnected, and as soon as he met these guys, he really just wants to hang out with them all the time. He's a little bit of the, again, picturing a little bit of the annoying Peter Parker to the rest of the rest of the superheroes.
And that's why you care about the team, you think?
Yeah. He
Okay.
thinks they're awesome. He just can't believe it because he feels like this was given to him. So he's a little bit cheating, whereas the rest of these guys seem like it's really part of them.
Awesome. All right. I think that gives us a good sense of who you are. We'll come back to you to talk about relationships and influence in a moment. That brings us last but not least to Guppy.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Yep, I'm playing a very serious character by the name of Maxwell Mason, and my backstory is that my mama said that my daddy's from this place called Innsmouth, and that, along with some dark matter incident, just made me made me like the way I am now, and I look like a big old fish boy, and I'm not super aware of that, like, or I pretend. Actually, I think I pretend not to be, right. So, I pretend like everything's fine, but
So let me stop you and ask you
Sure.
a question there with that. I know you've got it mentioned your backstory. So, like, when did you change? Because you suggest that maybe you had a life where you appeared more like other people.
Yep.
Like, when did that change occur?
So let's see. I want to say that it happened. If I'm 17, then maybe it happened like I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay.
I guess.
So a couple of years. Yeah, that's
Yeah. So I've worn the look long enough to like, I'm not in horror, I guess. But it's definitely awkward. Let's see. I hope that answered your question.
what does the your being this transformed individual, what abilities does that give you?
So I chose from the playbook that I have impenetrable armor because I have scales. And I have superhuman senses because that's interesting. Let's see. And I think it's okay if I drown in water. That might be funny. But,
Okay. I like that. What did you take for your moves?
I took Wish I Could Be. So that's about comforting someone by telling them that, I envy you this or that. I am Unstoppable, which is about destroying property in my mind. And then Be the Monster, which is frightening, intimidating, etc.
Those are good ones. So who outside the team is, now that you've come to, do you think you were raised here in the city or did you come to the city?
So I think maybe I came because I'm going to do this silly Southern accent.
Okay.
Maybe. And I don't know if we're supposed to be East Coast or West Coast or whatever, So yeah, let's say that I came to the city. Maybe I'm new.
Okay. Like,
Yeah, so the
that's
person.
yeah, suggest that there's somebody here that
Yeah.
maybe you're staying with or you're in communication with that maybe has knowledge of this and is helping you. Who do you think that might be?
So this is going to be a character that you play, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I want it to be some kind of coach or something like that. So, and what if they were like a Taekwondo instructor? I think that would be really fun, So, I'm learning about like self-discipline and like, finding the strength within, like that kind of thing.
I like that. Perhaps in their youth they pursued monster hunting or something like that, and now they've grown older and a little bit wiser, and they're going to try and help you understand how to use your abilities.
Yep.
Why don't you just hide away?
Um, because my mama said that real heroes are not ashamed of who they are. So, sorry. Yeah,
That's
so
okay.
maybe it's like destiny related or something.
Okay. But your mother told you can't just turn away from what you become. You've got to embrace that and do something with it. Okay.
Yeah.
And why do you care about the team?
Because I think, I think they're good friends of mine. We'll see how that plays out in the game, but I don't think that let's see. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
so.
that makes sense that these are people who see past your appearance at least somewhat. That makes sense. All right, we'll come back on relationships and influence, which in fact we're going to come back around to the front, back to Anders. Before I go too much further, before we go into the relationship and influence, let me talk about our lines and veils here that we've established so far. Right now we have hard lines on sexual assault, slavery, suicide, torture by the PC, and identical twins. And then we have veils on dental horror or any kind of sexual content. And then for our ask first, if we're going to bring that up, we'll check in. That includes childhood abandonment, epidemics, harm to children. So those are all there. So it looks like you have a name. So what is your character's name?
Black Hood,
Okay.
and I try to chop down the image so it's actually visible.
Do you have
Is
a
it
name
is the
for
text the
your?
right way? Sorry.
Do you have a name for your mentor?
Yeah, his name is the Reaper.
The Reaper. Okay. I like that. So let's come to your relationship questions. Again, with relationship questions, everyone has two of these. We'll do both of yours. You can say, hey, maybe it sounds like it's this person, or you can throw it out there for other people to pick up. So what's your first one?
My first one is you and blank teamed up a few times before the rest of you came together. I kind of like this to be Guppy, if that's okay.
Does that work for you, Guppy?
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, you had some chance to fight alongside of them. And then your mentor is cautious. They asked you to keep an eye on which other member of the team.
I'm kind of thinking bet for this because someone who isn't trained, who has that powerful artifact that seems dangerous, that seems like something you should keep track of.
That makes sense. That you should watch out for him. You don't know what kind of powers he has access to. I like that. I like that. And what are your influence? What's your question there?
Yeah, I choose my demeanor, playful or business. Ooh, that's tough. I think I'll go with playful.
Okay.
That means I give influence to two teammates.
Okay. Who do you think that's going to be?
Guppy for sure. think we've been we've hung out a bit. I think he's kind of cool. He seems to take this in stride, being looking like a fish, and that's kind of impressive. And probably Mary's character, Carmen. I think I'm impressed with her attitude, like being able to embrace her super identity, kind of.
So Carmen, Guppy, you will write in on your side that you have influence on that person. Anders, you don't record it on your side.
Okay.
All right. Let's come next to Carmen. The bull has very classic questions there, and they say love can be strong friendship, it can be agape, platonic love, or more romantic. It's up to you how you want to define that. What are your two relationship questions?
I'm thinking Black Hood for rival.
Okay. Does that sound good for you, Black Hood?
Yeah.
Like what do you think happened? They tried to restrain or control you. What do you think went on there, Carmen?
I think it was some fight where she was going a bit far and a bit too much collateral damage, and she didn't want to listen to Black Hood telling her to dial it back. And
I like that. So Black Hood is your rival. So who is your love?
all right. I'm gonna go with Guppy.
Okay. You've opened up to them about the worst parts of your past. I like that. And so that means that Black Hood, Guppy, you will write in that you have influence over Carmen. Which brings us to Bet. Bet, what is your first relationship question?
So I chose, just to fill in the blank, I chose Guppy is awesome, and you take every chance you get to hang out with them. He just looks at Guppy and just doesn't want to be staring, but just can't believe his eyes.
Okay.
And Guppy also seemed like he was a little bit of, I was about to say fish out of water.
Oh, there we go.
Sorry, he was transplanted from someplace else, so
Right.
That's how he feels. You've got to prove yourself to Carmen before you feel like a real hero. He just looks at Carmen, and she we don't have a name for Carmen yet, right? So Carmen is just so strong that he is very impressed. And then I gave for influence, I already put it in there for everybody. Everybody has one
Everyone has
influence
over Bet, over our beacon. Guppy, what are your two relationship questions?
The questions are blank comforted you when you were your lowest, and blank knew you before you changed, right?
Okay.
So I think I'm close to the answer of those. Okay. So I wanted to ask, let's see. So what if Carmen knew me before I changed? Does that make sense?
It does, but it probably just be recently. How long ago do you
That's
think you
true.
escaped out, Carmen?
I was thinking not too long ago.
Okay, so that
Okay.
might not necessarily fit.
So maybe then Jane the Black Hood knew me.
Okay.
Okay.
How?
Yeah, cool. That could be why we like worked together before the rest of the
Yep.
team.
Right.
So that was probably before I was trained as well. Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somehow your paths crossed growing up. That kind of anime
Yeah.
childhood friend. They come back together later on, and
Yeah.
you realize that you knew each other, kind of thing.
Hmm.
Yeah. Maybe my mom knows someone in your family because of the EOD Bridge Club, the Esoteric Order of Dagon. You know, Sunday Bridge Club. That makes sense to me. So
Yeah, maybe it was some like a foster family I was in for a period, but
right.
then they decided to use the return policy. We don't want this kid anymore.
And then who comforted you when you were at your lowest?
Okay. So in that case, let's see. I only have two choices. Let's just go with Carmen. I think that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a certain amount of connection between the two of you.
Mm-hmm.
And then you try not to care what other people think, even if you can't shut everyone out. Give influence to one teammate. Who is the teammate that has influence over you?
Okay. Let's see. I think it would be fun if does it matter if I have influence on them?
No, not
Nope.
it's not necessarily reciprocal.
Okay. So I think it makes sense if Black Hood has influence over me because we've known each other the longest.
I think that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense from a strategic point of view as well. Because it's always good for the team leader to have influence over everybody, and so we'll kind of we look at who might be leading based on those things. All right, so we are at the quarter after. We're going to take our first break here. I take 10 for the first break. I usually take 5 for the second. We'll see where our timing is on that, but let's take 10, and then we'll come back. Okay. So we're in our version of Halcyon City. The event, capital T, capital E, occurred some months back. And surprisingly to you, the public, or at least the authority figures here in Halcyon City, have begun to take a dim view of super beings. And that has spread to both sort of police and rescue services, but also to agents of Aegis who have been looking around. Let me ask you this, Black Hood. What happened that not necessarily, we weren't necessarily involved with it, but what happened that has kind of given teen superheroes in the city kind of a black mark or a black name?
I think there was a situation like there was a fire in a building, and there were some teen heroes, a couple of teen heroes who tried to help, but they actually made things worse. I don't think they caused anyone to die, but the
property damage, people
yeah,
endangered, that kind of thing.
yeah.
In a way that, like, it could be, shown repeatedly on the nightly news, on various YouTube footage and things like that. It's really gotten bad, and which resulted in effectively teen superpower curfew. Carmen, what happened, like an incident or something, between your group, your team, and one of these Aegis enforcer groups? Like tell us about a run-in that you had recently with them.
All right. I think we were confronting some villain and in some public square area, and they decided that they wanted to just round us all up and not care which of us were on the villain team and which of us were trying to fight them.
Yeah, they came in, they brought their little tack armor and specialty weapons, and they let loose on all of you. Like, how did that escalate badly, Bet? What happened?
Just to make sure I'm clear, this happened in our like sanctuary kind of area.
In the city in the recent past, even though you're not supposed to be superheroing, you went out and did it anyway. You're fighting a villain. We'll say, let me grab my the blood opal, and the Aegis team came in and they tried to round all of you up, not just the villain. They tried to take all of you in. How did that kind of escalate and become, a situation get out of hand?
Sure. So at some point when they were putting their hands on Guppy, for one, I tried to protect him, and I think accidentally shot one of the Aegis guys and with lethal damage instead of just like knocking him down.
Yeah. So Arrow probably actually went in, did some serious damage to them, which escalated the situation. Guppy, how did the team get out of that?
So I want to say that I created a shortcut for us, and let's see. So we've just established that it's in the city, I guess. So
Yeah.
maybe I flipped over some cars or something, and to block them from catching us.
Okay.
So,
Utilize the environment, and we're actually going to kind of take up a little bit after that. Guppy, what is the absurd costume that you use to kind of disguise your form? Like how when you're out in public and you're trying to maintain a little bit of low profile, what is that?
So I like the idea of this picture here that I'm wearing, like I'm wearing like it looks like a Sunday church outfit or something like that,
Okay.
but like, should I cover my face? Like, is that
Maybe you've got some kind of hat or something to.
okay? I can do that. Yeah. So it is let's see. I don't know the name of it, but it's sort of a floppy hat,
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a wide brim hat that you're using to kind of. And I think we're going to take up this evaded Aegis, but they're still out around patrolling, and so we find ourselves in the Halcyon City Mall. Tell me something about this mall, Black Hood. Like, is it a multi-story mall? Is it an underground mall? Does it have an amusement park in it? Like, what do you know about this mall?
I think it's both multi-story and partly underground. Like
Okay.
there's one level above ground, and then there's like 2 levels down.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, I want to say it's like this 60s design. It's all curves and that sort of thing, and lots of like brass railings and
Absolutely. The fountains and fake plants and real classic stuff. Probably a little bit of attempt to update it, but it's just a real classic. It is downtown in the business district, so it's one of those malls that's managed to survive based on like downtown traffic kind of thing. Carmen, do you like the mall? Do you hate the mall? Like, what's Carmen's reaction? Because you grew up fairly isolated.
Yeah, I think she hates it. There's too many people around. She feels a bit overwhelmed by it. It's too loud.
It's too loud. Is there anything you like at the mall?
I think there's a movie theater that she likes on the top floor.
Yeah, the nice big movie theater. The top floor is a little, people go there a little bit less because you have to hike all the way up to it, so it's not as badly trafficked. Uh, uh, Bet, oh, like what do you like? The mall has something that you absolutely love, like you just like has the best thing. What is the thing that's here that Bet like maybe tries to drag the others to, but maybe not necessarily their interest. Like what is here?
Yeah, it's one of those lids hat stores. It just has it has hats, and he's desperately trying to be cool in his alter ego, and that's the only way he can think to do it.
Oh yeah, hats and hats and hats and hats. The guy has a little stick to get the hats off the top shelves and things like that. Everything from costume hats to real hats. They've got a head measuring, like a laser head measuring thing that scientifically accurately measure your hats. Guppy, what is the sensory thing here at the mall that you either love or hate?
I think that I am very distracted and do not like the smell of the Cinnabon.
Okay.
Yep.
So much cinnamon, so much sugar. It just wafts in the air. And when they bring it out hot and fresh, most people are like, You're like, oh God. Just so much.
Too much.
So we take up with the four of you. You've kind of caught your breath, this, thrown on a little bit of like cover disguise for your costumes here in the mall, kind of trying to stay out of Aegis's sight here. So Black Hood, your team looks a little rattled. Are you the leader? I should ask that.
Yeah, I guess so.
Is everybody okay with Black Hood being
training? So
does that seem okay? Yeah, so it's one of those, like, this always happens with Matt, is like who's kind of falls into that. So you're kind of falling into that. And you've had a mentor who's kind of coached you. So like, what are you saying to the team at this point in this kind of fairly dark moment for you?
So this is like right after we escaped from the
like you're maybe 30 minutes after that, and you kind of like the mall was the place that you could hide and blend in, question mark.
Yeah, I guess we're maybe we're sitting like out like there's a small cafe outside that movie theater, and this isn't a time when there's any shows or at least anything popular, so there's almost no people there. We're sitting like in a booth in the back.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's that was a pretty bad situation, but you know, this city is still needs heroes, and the Reaper always says that you have to do the right thing, even if everyone else thinks you're doing the wrong thing.
What do the rest of you think of that?
Bet is furious. And guys, we need to mess them up. They came at us. I mean, Guppy, they threw this huge net over you. I mean, to try to contain you. Like he's trying to calm down, but his adrenaline still hasn't calmed down. Like we need to hit them back somewhere. I mean, I wouldn't normally say that, but the best, isn't there something about the best offense? Best defense is a good offense. I can never remember, but we need to hit them back. He's just stumbling over himself.
Yeah, I don't know. Those guys seem pretty serious, so whatever you guys say is probably a good idea.
By the way, he's not actually, he's not trying to convince anybody of this. It's not necessarily a good idea. It's just how he's reacting. Sorry about that, Carmen.
We just need a good plan to hit him back, like, rather than them chasing us and fighting them.
But do we really want to fight Aegis? Like, I mean, they're after us, but they're not bad guys, really.
What is that you say sometimes is WWRD? What would Reaper do? What would Reaper do?
Yeah, he's been chased by the cops many times, the way he tells it anyway, and I've seen some old like things on the TV when he does something bad, then everyone goes after him, and but he usually just shows them up. Like he doesn't fight the cops usually. He just shows them that he can do what they do better. The way he sees it anyway.
When was he active? I mean, Carmen, you've seen this. You've seen what happens when, you know, the government, these programs,
Yeah.
they treat us like freaks. Let's at least go in there and get some intel. You know, why don't we sneak in and figure out what's going on and sabotage them? They don't have to know it's us, but we can't let this continue. I mean, they're rounding us up. Was Reaper ever being rounded up like this?
I don't think successfully. I think they've tried, but yeah, I like that plan. Like if they can't find us, if they don't know anything about us, then they can't take us. That sounds good.
And I think, go, Carmen, go.
Are they holding any other young heroes?
They
Do we know?
Probably do have who name me a team hero that they have prisoner that you know.
Flash mob.
Okay. And Carmen, give me another one.
The hammer.
Okay, Flash Mob and the hammer. Together they fight crime. That you've met both of them. You know that they got picked up yesterday. They're probably at the Aegis facility here in Halcyon City. And I think you're talking about that, like maybe Flash Mob, maybe the hammer. When you will hear, it's going to this, like it's a mall with one of those open areas, you know, you can kind of look down multiple floors, and I think that you will all hear an explosion from down below, and shouting and some screaming, and then a crackling of maybe even lightning. What do you do, Black Hood?
Everyone, check your communicators. we have to see what that was. I think communicators as one of the things Reaper has provided us with.
Yeah, and I think you get like there are alarms going off at the mall. I think that's as much intel as is happening right now. As you kind of pull up your communicators, you see that has gone off. Carmen, what do you do?
She is gonna go to where we can look down and see if she can see what's happening.
So you kind of get to the edge, look over the brass rail. It's like four like levels down below. There's one of those glass elevators and some weird sculptures and things that are kind of hanging here. And you will see down on the ground floor that there are people running, and you will see that there is a enormous blue-skinned guy in a hoodie and pants that you would recognize as one of the surviving supervillains named Troll. And I'll show you his picture here. And he has some, like, he's got a big bundle of stuff, and he's kind of coming out. You remember that there's sometimes exhibits and things down there on the lower levels, and he seems to be busting out, but you're also hearing the crackle, so there must be somebody else there with him. Beacon, what do you do?
Yeah, I think Beacon wants to get this guy to stop what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
So what he's planning to do is jump on top of like a hanging lamp that's looking down, so he is right above them, and tell him to pick on somebody his own size.
Okay, so shouting, get yourself in the line of sight, kind of leap out, and you're going to try and provoke.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what he wants him to do is to really stop doing any damage, is to just basically shut down so he's not hurting anybody.
Okay, trying to get. Let's have you roll superior.
And this is the roll with me is on lines and veils.
Yep.
Okay. All right, it's 2 dice plus 0, right? Because my superior is 0.
Yep.
All right. All right, I rolled a 5.
Okay, let's talk about team in the team pool right now. So we start that you have 2 team in the team pool. Your leader has influence over every other teammate, so that's another team. I don't think we know what the purpose of the fight is, so I don't think everybody can be kind of on that. And I think you are a little ill-prepared for this. So I think we're at 2 team in the team pool. So 2 people could help you, or you could take the miss.
Yeah, so I think that I mean, if I had my druthers, I would say that another person would help by scaring them, like Guppy. But
It would take two
Yeah.
people to spend all of the team pool to get you to a 7.
And then it's just a 7.
Yeah.
Let's take the miss. This is
Okay.
I'm jumping out of nowhere. This is a miss.
So the good news is you get to mark potential. I should mention that between this session and next, you are going to get an advance regardless of potential. So potential is a little less important, but it is here. And I think that it is when you leap over and you jump and you grab onto that lamp, and it would have been cool. You would have looked great. But these are not well-maintained facilities. And that lamp goes down, and I think we see you come crashing down through the lights and kind of sail down and kind of land there. And I want you to mark a condition. You kind of fall out of the sky by Troll, who kind of looks down at you. Huh. Guppy, what do you do?
I think it's time that I directly engage a threat in order to help my friend. So I'm gonna jump down there and get in his face.
Okay, leap down,
Mhm.
throw yourself at him. Okay, so let's have you roll directly engage a threat. That is with danger, I believe.
Okay. Am I supposed to be using a specific roller? Or...
So there's a roller in the in the Lines and Veils tab, which I of
Okay,
course sent
that's fine.
one. Or if you have dice of your own, you're also welcome to roll at home.
Okay. I rolled them here. Okay, I have 9.
You have a 9.
Okay, and then if I'm using danger, then it's +2, so 11.
Okay,
Yep.
so with that, you get to pick 2 from the directly engage a threat list.
Okay.
You're gonna smash and deal harm to them, and then you have to choose one from choose 2 from that list.
Okay. Let's see. I'll create an opportunity for my allies. And let's see. Impress or sure, let's impress them. That could be interesting.
Yeah, I think. What does that look like? Like how do you
Uh-huh.
land on them?
Yeah. So it's kind of like a Hulk jump type thing.
Okay.
And then, there and then let's see, I've got a little cord on the hat so I don't lose it, but it, comes off and I'm full like scalefish boy here in the food court and just let's see. Yeah, maybe I do like a double fist smash thing, like a Hulk style or whatever. And
Absolutely.
yeah. Smash.
So you do like you slam in. There's a crashing, like the ground will split under, uh, and you do like you kind of clean Troll's clock for a moment there. The two of you are there, and he's a little pinned. As he's kind of trying to push himself up, he is tearing great gouges in the ground of the mall. Uh, uh, and you are going to mark a condition because you
Yeah,
didn't choose avoid their blows, but he is
that's
kind
fine.
of a little bit staggered there. Let's swing back to Black Hood.
Yeah, I'm still up there on the top floor, and I think I'm trying to like see what's going on, see where that lightning is coming from. I don't know if this counts as doing assess the situation before entering the fight, but I think that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, that feels right to me because you haven't actually engaged. Like you've kind of watched, observe. So let's have you go ahead and roll superior.
Superior and my superiors too. I'm actually good at it. I
Yeah,
did not expect
lean
that.
into your strengths.
Yeah, that's a 9.
That is a 9. So you get to ask one question, and you're going to get a +1 forward on the answer. So what is it you want to know?
Yeah, I get an additional question from my be mindful of your surroundings.
Excellent.
So, what here is in the greatest danger?
Right now, there is a lot of that lightning flashing around, and that is setting some things on fire. And that's on that like the sub ground floor, and there are people there. Uh, so that's probably the thing that's in the most danger, are the people down there on that first floor.
Then how could we best end this quickly?
Ooh. Like I think the most you have 2 choices. I think either get those foes out of the building, or if you're more worried about the fire, you need somebody to get down with a more directed, like the halon or whatnot, as quickly as possible before that like has a chance to get worse. Does that seem like a fair answer?
Yeah.
Okay. And we always assume that information is kind of shared amongst the group once people pick things up. And two, we also assume that while you have Black Hood's communicators, which gives like detailed information, you also have like you can always talk to one another through this. So Carmen, you're up there. You've seen this. You saw Bet go crashing down, and then Guppy leapt off. Black Hood is assessing the situation. What are you doing?
Can I see the source of the lightning or not yet?
I think it makes sense since Guppy is kind of pulled to give you an opportunity. I think you will see the second supervillain there in a battle suit you'll recognize as Voltaic. He has lightning crackling off and around him. It looks like where the troll had some stuff that he was carrying. It does look like Voltaic has like a like insulated bag that he's kind of got locked at his side, like there's something that he's stolen in particular. What do you want to do?
All right. She wants to jump down and try to knock him away from the other people and sort of back out. I guess there's not an entrance since it's the basement, but
you could try and see how well you could do. You can knock him up like to the entryway for the first floor if you wanted.
sure, yeah. With
All
a
right.
yeah.
So that's unleash your powers. That's you're using your bull strength to unleash to see if you can change the situation. So let's have you roll with Freak.
All right. So that is +1. Oh, well, I didn't add one, so 9.
That's a 9. So on a 9, a 7 to 9, you can mark a condition to have it like fully work, or you can it's like he won't get all the way out. He'll still be up in there. Alternately, of course, you have 2 team in the team pool. And you are at a 9. What would you like to do?
I think if somebody wants to help out with the team pool, that could be good.
Anyone in position to do that? Bet, how are you helping out?
Can you just restate what happened again? Just sorry.
Yeah, Carmen, describe how you're grabbing onto Voltaic and trying to throw him.
Yeah, so she has jumped down from the second floor into the bottom, and she's gonna grab him by whatever armor he has by his shoulders and attempt to just chuck him up, maybe over the railing or through the glass on the first floor out towards the entrance.
Yeah, so Bet is thinking about sweeping. He's already on the floor, sweeping the legs to make him not be able to hold his ground as much.
Perfect. You're up there. You kind of get up from your original fall. You're doing that. Carmen, you grab on, and like Voltaic starts to crackle with electricity, and you will up over the rail, and we'll hear that crash as he kind of bounces a couple times in that long hall, and then the sound of shattering as he goes through the front doors of the mall out into the parking lot where he's not around so many civilians. So you have moved him away from the situation. Then that does bring us back to Bet for your action.
All right, so Troll's still there, and I apologize. Yep. You know, I was looking at a little bit of my moves while Black Hood was talking.
Sure.
Black Hood found out the second piece of information was an exit. Was that what it was?
So do you want to restate that for us, Black Hood?
Yeah, it was the best way to end this quickly was to either get the villains out of here or start the fire control system to make sure the fire doesn't spread. And I think it seems like we started working on getting them out of here. So
got it.
Either of those.
Yeah. And not to be too meta, I'm just
Sure.
trying to understand defend. Is something like defending the group like actually trying to set off the sprinklers, or is that too
Oh
much of a
yeah, yeah.
stretch?
If you want to say I'm going to try and defend the civilians here, I want to
Yeah,
get in the way and try and do that. That is that move fits with defend.
yeah. So I want to find some kind of fire alarm or find some kind of sprinklers and make sure that they're engaged.
Okay. So let's have you roll with Savior to kind of get the civilians moved, get the fire prevention stuff set,
Fire
redirect the
extinguisher
fire.
if I have to. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So it's going to be 2 + 2. So I'm going to add the 2 on here. And I got a 12.
You got a 12.
10 + 2.
10 + 2. So you don't escalate the situation. You don't expose yourself to harm. And you get to choose one of those. You can add a team to the team pool, take influence over mall civilians, or clear a condition.
And influence over mall civilians. Can you go over influence one more time, please?
So influence is basically you can, when you're doing a social move or move to affect someone, if you have influence over them, you get a +1. And you can also spend it to get an additional +1. So
Got it.
yeah, so it's kind of a little bit of control over them.
Yeah. At this point, I think I'm going to clear my condition.
Okay. All right. So what does that look like? Like, what do we see on panel?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think the most practical thing is he grabs a fire extinguisher and he's spraying down stuff that's on fire and he's doing it. Actually, you're supposed to use 2 hands to do it, but somehow he's figured out how to use 1 hand to do it.
Mhm.
And he's shouting and directing the civilians out the fire exit at the same time, waving with his hand.
Perfect. Guppy, you and Troll are kind of locked up there. Troll shakes his head to clear his head and is kind of moving to stand up. What do you do?
Let's see. I'm gonna try to scare him away, which for someone who's named the troll might be difficult, but I'm gonna try.
Okay.
Yep. And I'm gonna use one of my playbook moves. I think I'm gonna
Sure.
be the monster. So I imagine that in Jurassic Park, the Dilophosaur does that thing.
Uh-huh.
Maybe I have that kind of mode, like that. So
Absolutely. Let's have you roll freak.
okay. Let's see. Okay. All right. So oh yeah. So I got 7 and then my
Okay.
freak is 3.
So look at
So,
that. So on a 10 plus, you still have to choose one of those results.
okay. All right. I think frightening others I didn't tend to scare. It seems natural.
Oh yeah. There are people there. They're panicked. They're moving around. They've gotten away from the fire. They see this hero, and then you do that, and the shrieking escalates. Like they've already seen Troll. They're already middle supervillain, and then you do that, and the people who have their little cameras are like and you see Troll is like what the what, and I think with a 10 plus, like he looks down to grab the case that he had there, but I think he jumps up to that first floor railing, kind of catches onto that and starts pulling himself up like he is going to make a break for it.
Nice.
Black Hood, what do you do?
Well, we want them out of here, and they're kind of on their way out. And the fire is under control, it seems like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I think just I will like find something so I can swing down to like maybe one floor above where they are,
Uh-huh.
and bring out my, they're not batarangs, they're like what could I be throwing? Like they're little scythes,
Okay.
because of the Reaper. I'm throwing those at them just to try to keep them moving out of the room.
So it feels like you want to kind of finish the job. You want to get Troll out of the building.
Yeah.
Okay. So that feels like you are going to unleash your powers to do that.
Cool. That's 3. My freak is 0. That's a 3. There's no helping that.
So the good news is you get to mark potential.
Ooh, great.
Like, why do you get too close?
Ooh, I think I see him like turning, and I think that I interpret that as he's scared and he's moving away. So I move in closer, but it was actually just he was covering up, but he was like painting. It was like a paint.
Yeah, it kind of turns and he kind of cocks back like he's going to hit you, and that is when the Aegis net hits you, wraps you up, and you kind of drop to the ground. Mark a condition, and you can see coming in through that front way, you'll see Voltaic's kind of falling off to the side, and there is that Aegis strike team that is moving in through that busted doorway, and rather than shoot Troll, they actually shot you. Carmen, what are you doing?
So Black Hood is now netted next to Troll, right?
Yeah, you kind of look, probably if you kind of leap up to that first floor, you see that long way down the ways, you see where you kind of knocked Voltaic through, see this Aegis strike team coming in. Troll is closer to you, and Black Hood is netted up like at Troll's feet.
All right. So would now be when I could defend someone to defend him from Troll or Aegis after they move in?
That'd be perfect.
All right, yeah.
So let's have you roll your defend. You have a move for that, don't you?
Yeah, because Black Hood is my rival, so when I roll that, I roll with plus danger.
Okay. And do you have influence over Black Hood?
I do.
So you also get a +1.
I also have there when it matters, though, that I can do a hold 1 rather than choosing 1.
Okay.
But we'll get there. So +3. No, that did not work. Oh, 2d6. There we go.
Oh, 13. So first describe to me what that looks like. Like, what do we see happen? And then we'll make those picks.
So she leaps up between Black Hood, who's under a net, and Troll, who is cocked back to punch him, and maybe manages to catch his arm as she leaps up to spin him off balance. And
oh yeah, take the motion to kind of grab onto it as the fist comes down, and you'll fling him off to the side. So you have a thing to do the a hold for
yeah,
future?
on a hit I can hold 1 instead of choosing 1 from the list, to spend it later to arrive on scene when they ready to help.
Okay, do you want to do that?
Sure.
Okay, so you've got one special hold for Black Hood. Perfect. Bet fire has been taken care of. You're like, oh, the civilians are in great shape, but then you hear them screaming and running. And you see them fleeing away, and Troll fleeing away as well from Guppy, who's there. Do you think you've seen Guppy like this before, Bet?
Yeah, he's fascinated with Guppy.
Mm-hmm.
And I should have mentioned last time, while he's putting the fire out, he was doing all sorts of flips and acrobatics. And,
oh yeah.
So he ended up in a spot where he maybe was out of sight of Aegis, and he is thinking about, I don't know if they've got a net gun or if they just threw a net at him.
They've got one of those net firing guns.
Yeah. He's going to assume that there's more in the chamber. I don't know if that's realistic or not, if this thing is going to have more than one, but he wants to steal some of their gear.
Okay.
He wants to flip by them and grab the net gun from them and take them by surprise.
Okay. So that feels like it feels like you're unleashing your powers because you're using your acrobatics to do this. We'll get some effect from that, and then if you do it successfully, you'll also get a hold of that gear to add to your list. Does that seem cool?
It does. I was thinking directly engage a threat simply.
Oh, okay. I'm also good with that. If you want to do the punching. Yeah. Okay.
One of the things says take something from them.
If you're willing to start punching Aegis, then yes.
Yeah, that's what he's doing. He's a little out of control. So
okay.
Gonna roll. He can roll savior instead of danger.
Awesome.
Because of suck at the mission. So he's about to roll 2d6 and add 2. And he gets a 9.
It's a 9. So we still have one team in the team pool. And certainly Carmen is up there, or Guppy can narrate that they're helping. Do one of them want to chip in here?
Maybe distract Aegis with a huge roar or something.
Yeah, I can stay on distraction.
Okay.
So where physically are they in relation?
They're up, like you'd have to leap up a floor, but you could easily do that.
I'll do that. Yeah, I'll leap up, and then let's say if there's like one of those cell phone kiosks, you know, like I'm gonna
just
turn it over.
Yeah, turn that over. So you're now up by Carmen and Black Hood, Beacon. So that last team will be used up, but you will get a 10+. So what do you want as your 2 results there?
Yeah. So the first thing he's going to do is jump up and snatch a gun from somebody and say thanks and kiss them. So that's one of his drives.
Nice. I like that.
And then he's going to flip away, and the idea was to impress, surprise, or frighten them. I don't know mechanically what that gives us. I mean, I basically
in this case, it makes them realize that they need to call backup and need to get, they can't just come in with this small team here.
Yeah, so that's what he's looking to do.
Okay. Yeah, they do, like as soon as you grab, they fall back into kind of like attack formation, a tactical formation, to like the maybe they just thought you were kids, but now you kind of like it. They're taking you seriously.
And the only other thing I'll point out is now that I grabbed this new piece of gear, I can write a new ability in.
Absolutely.
I'm not really sure how that works. Is it
we'll kind of figure out. Basically, it's kind of like those are usually used with unleash your powers. So you now have the ability to net people up and that kind of thing. However, you are going to mark a condition when they open up with these soft bag rounds at you and kind of kind of hit you a couple times. What do you want to mark?
I'm going to mark probably guilty.
Okay. Yeah, you're not
Stuff
feeling
like-
great about this.
Yeah.
Guppy. So let me get the scene for you. You're on this sort of like big first floor hallway, you know, the two parallel rows of things. You've thrown the cell phone kiosk aside. Carmen is there kind of over Black Hood. Black Hood is kind of still wrapped up. Troll's on his back on the ground, still there and still present danger. Voltaic seems to be taking off with his ill-gotten goods. And that Aegis team is kind of falling back to regroup and taking you down more seriously. What do you want to do?
Let's see. I feel like this could be an opportunity for us to get away if that's something we want to do. Let's see. So, can I ask the team for input? Is that
Sure,
something?
absolutely. Please
Okay.
pull the
So,
table. You have
sure.
comms, so you can talk on comms.
Yeah. So, are we going to try to get in there and bust out Flash Mob and the Hammer, or are we going to try to take care of this situation like heroes, or what? What's our priority?
Jailbreak. We want to save as many of our peers as possible.
All right. Well, I think this is our
That's
opportunity.
mine. But
What do you say, Lieutenant Leader Black Hood?
If Aegis are here, they can deal with Troll and Voltaic. That's their problem. We'll bust out.
That's what I thought. We're going to do the fun job, and here I will try to. Let's see. So, okay. Look.
You want to use your unstoppable to?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so let's have you roll the danger, and then based on that, we'll have you describe what that looks like. But let's start with the roll.
Okay. All right. So I have an 8, and plus 2 is 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what does that look like when you absolutely clear a path? Like, what is that path? What does it look like?
Yeah. So, let's see. As a teenager, in real life, I did work in a mall for a while. So there are different like employee passages or whatever.
Yep.
And a different character could have probably just let us out, but I go and grab the double doors and just rip them off the hinges and I found a way out, y'all. Let's go. Like that.
So yeah, and I assume as you go through there, you are knocking aside goods, things are flying every which way.
Yeah. So I imagine so when you on the way out, there's like a dumpster or something.
Uh-huh.
And there's they have these machines that crush cardboard or something.
Oh yeah.
And maybe I knock that over and dent it or something.
Yeah. Knock it over, kind of shove it in the way. Carmen, are you good with escape here?
Yeah, she's good to go. Jailbreak.
All right. So you grab Black Hood, Beacon, and we'll see you rush off out of here to regroup and plan your jailbreak. So let's do this. Let's take 5. We'll come back. We'll kind of talk about where your hideout, and I put the air quotes on that, is, and we'll kind of do a scene of you regrouping and thinking about what planning for a jailbreak looks like. Sound good? Okay. So let's take 5. So this is kind of a poll the table. I usually don't like to throw an open question like this. I usually like to direct it, but we're going to assume you have a hideout or a base or a clubhouse or something. Any suggestions on what that should be? Is it just somebody's place? Is it a business? Is it an abandoned place that you found? Is it someplace set up for you by the by Black Hood's mentor? What any suggestions? Any ideas? Something that like you dig?
I picked hidden base as one of the other things he's provided for us.
Okay. Well, so is everyone okay with having a hidden base? So this is a hidden base for your own use, set up for you by the Reaper. When we see it on panel, how do we know that the Reaper has set this up for you, Black Hood?
I think it's this very bare bones. I'm thinking like a bare concrete thing. Maybe it's like not quite like a storage unit. It should be a little bit bigger.
Okay.
Maybe it's like 4 storage units that are knocked through.
Yeah, a little bit kind of a bunker, survivalist feel to it. Very, very practical, bare bones. So we come in and like, what are the features that we see there? I think you get to pick, don't you, a couple of things?
I pick resources. I pick the communicators, the hidden base, and surveillance equipment.
Okay.
And imagine the surveillance equipments are like mini drones or something, and we have like a control unit for them.
So what we'll come back to you, and I'll ask you to give me some other details about things we'll see on screen. But you all have been using this base for a bit. Carmen, like, what is the space that you've kind of made for yourself here? Like, what is your corner of the hidden base look like?
I think she has a corner with like a punching bag and some mats on the ground and a little fridge in the corner and a workout bench.
What's in the fridge?
Alcohol.
Oh, okay. So actually has it. I mean, does she drink?
She does, but she tries to hide it, which is why it's in the fridge.
Oh, okay. Is it?
She wants people to think there are workout drinks in there, but
I like that. Are we talking beer? Are we talking wine coolers? Are we talking schnapps? Like what is it? What does a teenage illicit refrigerator look like?
probably beer.
Okay, it's the easiest thing to get in some ways. So Beacon, sorry, not Beacon, Bet. Bet, what have you done to make a portion of this hidden base your own?
Yeah, he brought in a video game system and a beanbag chair. And he sits on the beanbag chair sometimes, but sometimes he likes to jump up onto like a big armoire or a big cabinet and like sit on the top of it, like, or like, you know, be kind of squatting on like a stool near the in the kitchen eating pizza, you know, just in a weird Spider-Man squat.
Is it a big kitchen? Is it a little kitchen? Like what's the setup for that here?
Yeah, I mean, Reaper set this up, and yeah, it's a relatively big, well-lit kitchen. We just have a lot of junk food in there, and he's usually eating pizza, so it's kind of like being at some rich person's house, but it's stocked by teenagers.
Right. You carefully set up stuff so you could live here, to prepare, you know, very nice, you know, sort of black metal stove and all of those things, and just potato chip bags everywhere.
Yep.
I like that. Guppy, how have you made this hangout place something of your own.
So I've been trying to practice my taekwondo moves here. In the corner, I've got my gym bag, and that's where I do my workouts. And let's see, I like the potato chips, but I really like my mama's cornbread. So I've got some of that stashed away,
Okay.
and and I wash it down with some buttermilk, and I'm all set.
So you have a fridge, but it's filled with buttermilk.
Yeah, if they don't want my buttermilk in their fridge, I have my own, and that's all that's in it. It's just like, buttermilk.
I
And
know
then,
that people drink buttermilk, but it is the most vile thing I can
yes,
imagine.
it
I hate to
is.
say that. I apologize to any Southerner who's watching this. Uh, so Black Hood, what else is here that others have their kind of space? What else is here that maybe illustrates the fact that while you are the Grim Reaper's, or sorry, the Reaper's disciple, you're also like a very different person?
Yeah, I think I've set up like a corner with a couch, like an old, like a dumpster couch, and a very worn out big chair and a table. Um, and I think I put up some posters on the walls of like really cool bands or something like that.
American bands? Are you a K-pop follower? What do you imagine for
Um,
Jane?
ooh, I I as a player don't know enough about K-pop to do that. I think it's like ooh, I think it's like a mix. It's probably not bands that she actually likes. It's
Okay.
just she found a bunch of posters that had been thrown away. So it's like a death metal band, and there's like very cutesy yeah, some K-pop thing, and some Euro disco
Mhm.
thing as well.
So the four of you are there, uh, uh, and the plan is to uh, raid the Aegis facility. Is that sort of like what's going on? So I guess the question is I'm going to go around. You know that you're going to do this raid. Is there something you would do to prepare for this? Is it training? Is it talking to somebody to get information? Is it like in the case of Black Hood, consulting your mentor? Uh, uh, let's do kind of a once around to give each of you a chance to kind of like call a little scene. Black Hood, do you want to call your mentor?
Yeah, definitely. Um, since I have a move for it, I'm going to going to do that. I picked the
Absolutely.
fireside chat.
So,
Um,
so do you call your mentor privately, or do you call it with the others around? Do they get to hear this conversation?
no, I do this privately because it's kind of embarrassing to ask for help and advice, and you never know what he'll say. It might be the conversation could be awkward. I don't want to get chewed out in front of of my teammate.
Yeah. And to answer Bet's question, the thing, we always reset team at the start of a fight. We always do that question again. So there's that's what will happen. So let's have you roll with the label that your savior, your mentor embodies.
He embodies danger, and my danger is 0.
Okay.
So let's see. That's a 5.
So you will call up the Reaper, and like, what are you saying to the Reaper?
I'm just reading the move. On a miss, they don't have time for you because something big has gone down. Mark condition, GM's choice. Oh my
Yes.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So mark potential for me.
Yeah.
And what condition are you going to mark here? Or actually, let's do the conversation, then you could decide. So
Yeah.
what do you call up the Reaper? Kind of excited. What are you saying to the Reaper?
We hey, we just had this run in with Aegis, and they grabbed Flash Mob and Hammer. We have to bust them out. I mean, you've gone up against Aegis before. You know what kind of defenses they have and that sort of thing, right?
Look, I don't have time for this. If you're not strong enough to handle things yourself, then you need to maybe get out of the game here. You don't understand the things that are happening right now, the challenges, the darkness that's sweeping over the city. So if you can't take care of yourself, then I don't even know why I took you on as an apprentice. And I think he's going to push down your superior by 1.
Yeah.
And push up your mundane 1. Do you want to reject that?
No.
Okay.
No, that seems good.
And then he hangs up on you.
Oh, that's so mean. Yeah.
What do you want to mark condition after he says that?
Ooh, I've already got insecure from before. I don't think I want to go all the way to hopeless. I think I'm afraid.
Okay.
Oof. Yeah, this is so bad. Yeah.
At least the others didn't hear this.
Yeah. So I come back in because I think they know that I'm going. I said I'll go check in with Reaper, see if he's got any advice for us, and I come back in and he's really busy. There's something big going down, but I don't know what it is, and I'm trying to like put up a big facade, but we can do this. I know we can do this.
Awesome. Carmen, what would you like to do? Do you want to talk to an NPC? Do you want to talk to a PC? Do you want to investigate things? What do you think you want to do here in this time that we have a little bit?
She wants to do some investigation so she can find out what we're going up against. Not because she thinks she can't handle it, but she wants her teammates to be safe.
Absolutely. So kind of like checking computer stuff, finding out the data. This would be assess the situation.
All right. And that's which stat? Superior. All right. 1. Let me reload. It says rolling.
Okay. An 8. So you get 1 question.
Go with what here is the greatest danger.
So you kind of are looking through and checking, and you can see that it isn't a big facility, like it's a smaller Aegis facility, but they actually have called in one of the supers who sometimes works with Aegis, one of the surviving supers, who's called Yes Man, and like he's an actual super So he's probably the most dangerous of the things there. So if you do break in, you want to either get him out of the way or distract or draw off to make sure that he's not a threat. Does that seem fair?
Yeah. Do I know anything about Gasman's powers? Or...
Yeah, he is like says he's made of living positive energy, and has his fist little like crackle with like a power. He can jump real high, and he's kind of tough and strong. He's like a little energy tank.
Right.
And he is very full of himself, as you might imagine from that name.
Yeah, I figured.
Bet, what about you? What are you doing?
Yeah, if it's okay with Jeremy and Guppy, Bet is he's kind of like tickled by everything that happened, and he's super psyched, and he's giving Guppy a high five, and he's like, "Man, you helped me. I totally stole that net gun. You made the distraction. You busted us out of there." And he's ultimately, I'm trying to comfort him and support.
Okay. Are you comforting support, or do you want to do the moment of triumphant celebration?
Yeah, my moment of triumphant celebration to get us to team, right? This would clear his condition.
Yeah, and
So,
we'd have that hang around until the next thing if you wanted. And
yeah.
you don't have to roll.
Yes. So I want to do the celebration. So yeah. So I guess the question is, should we let Guppy in on the secret of what Guppy has to do to get a second?
Yeah. So you've told Guppy how they're awesome. Here, Guppy, Bet's come over and it is really like super excited about what you did. So the question is, do you tell them how they're awesome in return?
Back to Bet.
Yeah, like when Bet comes over and start
Yeah.
praising you.
Sure. Yeah.
What do you say?
Let's see. I'm looking at. I'm glancing over your character real quick. Let's see. So you've got marks and mundane, you know. So I want to give you like some kind of like compliment on like your looks or your like your way of dressing or something like that, you know.
Sweet.
So like you know, whatever is fashionable with the kids and whatever, you know, era of Halcyon city that we're living in, you know, I take notice, like you know, hey, you know, I man, you've got the best fashion sense and like just style about you, and I honestly look up to you. You know, you with your nice Adidas shoes, and I just yeah, you're just you're great.
That totally makes O'Sheen's day. He tries so hard. Thank you.
Awesome. So we've got the two team that's going to sit, and then when you next go into fight, it'll be added to what you do. Guppy, what about you? We've got people who've looked into things, talked to some people. What do you want to do for your little scene here? You're muted.
Thank you. I want to try to use my super senses somehow.
Okay.
So so I imagine a little scene where I don't know if we're underground or whatever, but I don't know. I just go out somewhere and I try to listen.
Okay. You use your super senses include a precise auditory. You'll go into the area around where the Aegis is and try to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's have you unleash your powers.
Okay, cool. Okay. It says I have to refresh the page. Let me do that. So it looks like I did get my roll through, and it was a 4, And if I'm unleashing my powers, then
It's a 7.
yeah. So
So here's the question. Do you want to get a little bit of information, or do you want to get more information, but you have to mark a condition?
I'll mark that condition. That sounds great.
Yeah, what are you marking?
Let's see. I want to be afraid. I think that'll be interesting.
So I think that you get into the area and kind of watching from the shadows, and I think there is a bit when you see one of these Aegis people goes up to one of the consoles and stuff, and he plugs in a code, and I think your hearing is deep enough and sharp enough that you can pick up the different digits, like just the slight variations for distance and stuff, and beep, 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 beep. Use whole code, and you get down the passcode for the base level to get into Aegis HQ. There's probably more security inside, but you have that. That's the point at which you go, I'm in. That kind of thing. You're sort of hacker style.
Very nice. Just so to help my imagination,
Sure.
how many digits do you think it is?
13.
Excellent. All right, I love it.
So that's where we're going to stop, but we've got some end of session stuff to do. We're going to resolve that, which is the end of session basic move. At the end of each session, you're going to choose whether you grow closer to the team, in which case you're going to give influence to that character and clear a condition or mark potential, or you grow into your own image of yourself, which allows you to shift a label, or grow away from the team, which is the worst choice, but allows you to take influence away from another character. So Black Hood, what do you think? What did you feel? Grow closer to your own image of yourself or away?
Definitely not image of myself, but I don't think I've grown away from the team either. So I think closer to the team. We went through a rough spot together, but we pulled through. So yeah.
Absolutely. So who do you think really made you feel welcome amongst the other 3 characters? Who did that?
Ooh. Carmen was the one who protected me, right? When I was captured. Yeah. So Carmen.
All right. Carmen, do you already have influence over the Black Hood?
It looks like yes.
Okay. So the way this works is you get to shift Black Hood's labels. You get to shift one up and one down because you already had influence. You get to make that change. What do you want to shift? This is, by the way, the toughest choices in this game for this. I'm going to tell you honestly.
Yeah. I'm thinking shift down superior because didn't do so well in the fight, and
yeah.
And what up?
Mundane, maybe? I'm not sure.
Are you okay with that, Black Hood?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So let's do that shift. And then Black Hood, you can either clear a condition or you can mark potential. I should also tell you that everybody is going to get an advance for free for next time as well.
Yeah, I think I'll clear my afraid.
Okay.
I think spending some time together with a team and seeing all the things they come up with, that's going to comfort me a bit.
Perfect. Carmen, did you grow closer to the team into your own image of yourself or away?
I'm thinking into image of herself.
Okay. Like what has changed and what label is going to shift and what's going to shift down?
I'm thinking shifting up savior for both saving Black Hood and like trying to get the people out to help the civilians.
I think that's a perfect choice. And what's going to shift downwards for you?
Maybe danger.
Okay. Yeah. Seeing yourself as more of a protector than a person who just hurts and lashes out. I think that's great. That will bring us to Bet. Closer, image of yourself or away?
Closer, yeah. The celebration he had with Guppy was heartfelt, and he's always looking to push that button. So Guppy already has influence over Bet.
Yeah. So Guppy can shift your labels. Guppy.
And
Yeah.
I'm sorry
Not
to interrupt you.
really.
Sure.
Well, just to make sure we caught this on the last one too. Give influence that character and clear condition or mark potential.
Right. Which is Black Hood cleared a condition.
Cool. So that means that I would clear condition or mark potential, or Guppy
Exactly.
would.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
What do you want to shift, Guppy? What do you think? What do you think
Interesting.
about Bet?
So I feel like we want to bump either savior or superior, and I think I'm gonna bump superior, and let's see, and I have to downshift something.
Yep.
I'll downshift freak.
Sure. Are you good with
Yeah.
that, Bet?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
And then the last but not least, Guppy.
Mm-hmm.
How about for you?
I'm going to do the same thing.
Okay.
And right back at you, Bet.
Okay.
Because we did that, and you can gain influence on me. And that'll manifest as I'm going to attempt to dress like you in some way.
Okay.
So I think I'm open to suggestions. What is it about you that I try to emulate? Do you think?
Yeah. Big denim jacket.
Okay.
Whitewashed.
I like it. And then Guppy, you can mark potential or clear one of your conditions.
So I have two conditions. How do they work?
So afraid gives you -2 to directly engage, and you clear it by running from something difficult. And then insecure gives you -2 to defend or reject someone's influence, and you clear it after you take foolhardy actions without talking to your team.
Okay, I think I'd like to clear the afraid, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So everybody will choose in advance for next time. Now that can be raising one of your labels. It can be taking a new move, or I'll mention this because this doesn't often get used, especially in short-term games. You can unlock your moment of truth. A moment of truth is a once per that you can use to kind of grab the narrative focus. You don't have to decide now. We'll check in with everybody at the beginning of the next session. I would like to do a quick stars and wishes, if you don't mind, just to kind of go through stars about things you'd like in play, think about other characters, and then wishes like stuff you'd really like to. We got one session, like if there's a note or a thing you really want to hit or see on screen. Can I start with Black Hood?
Sure. Stars to everyone for coming up with cool characters. I feel like this is I wish we would be playing more than one more session. But if I had to pick one in particular, I think Jeremy Guppy is just a cool, just a cool guy. I really like both the backstory and the character itself. It's very cool. Wishes. I don't know if there is a moment with some sort of confrontation with the Reaper on screen,
Okay.
that would be cool. But just if the opportunity arises.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely fair to hope, to ask to see Reaper on screen so we can see them in the flesh. I think that's a great call. Carmen.
Echoing what Anders said, I like everybody's character, wish we had more time with them. And yeah, I guess for wishes, I want to see if we can explore why Aegis was not interested in taking down those villains
Okay.
and what that.
I think that is a good question and a good plot detail. We'll make sure that we focus on. And then Bet.
Yeah, I mean, Stars, Lowell, super organized. It's hard to believe that was just a couple hours really that we were doing that. We feel like we're already fleshed together. And Anders, I mean, you took the lead as the player and you were first in the slot. Thank you for that. And then Carmen, I really want to know more about her, Myri. I feel bad for her. Like, she just seems like there's got to be something seething underneath her. And then Guppy is just hilarious. And you're really leaning into him. So it's super fun. I'd say, yeah, in terms of wishes, I mean, we've just got one session. So I, similarly to Myri said, feel like Aegis is this very relevant organization at the moment. It feels like there's some darkness coming over the city in terms of this game, and I'd really love to feel like there was some hope, and maybe we were the ones to help bring that hope.
Excellent. And then Guppy.
Yeah, I'll give a star to Lowell as well. I think that like I felt I was in the genre in a good way. And like you know, fighting in the mall and all that, and then details like some of the like how powers and stuff work and things like that. I appreciate. I appreciate. Let's see, Chris. I appreciate how you're trying to be tactical with your character, because I think that's kind of part of what like narratively that character seems to be about as well, you know. And I think there's a lot of potential with Carmen, like just like with your origin and you know, the different directions that you could go with that, I think. So yeah, I think I want to confront some adults.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, I had a lot of fun. So thank you so much.
Good. Awesome. I'm looking forward to this. These are a great set of characters. I love masks and some dynamite archetypes, and yeah, there is so much I want to learn about each of them. So I'm very excited. I'm going to stop the recording.